ज्योतिष का ज्ञान यह रे रहस्य Astrology's knowledge deep as sea नक्षत्र कहानियाँ कहता यहाँ Constellations tell their stories to thee कुंडलिनी जगाओ आत्मा जागृत करो Awaken Kundalini, let your spirit rise ऊर्जा भीतर से बहती है Energy flows from deep inside.
Good afternoon and welcome to our new moon report, new moon in Sagittarius for December 1st, 2024. And we're going to cover we're going to cover the most important transits of the month. But first, I just want to tell you all that the new website, Quicksilver Astrology, is up if you haven't already heard in the previous videos. As well as the new tarot deck is available for purchase too on the website. Just go to the website quicksilverastrology.com, and up at the top you'll see at the head of the banner there will be a couple of places you can click on to take a look at some items there, either the bookstore or if you're interested in the tarot deck, please check that out as well. So let's go ahead down the line here and look at some of the transits. I am Tony Victor giving you the report today. All right, so on December 1st of 2024, we have our new moon in Sagittarius at 9 degrees, and it brings with it the energy of the Eight of Wands, uplifting, energetic, swift. You may have flights of fancy, be inspired to pursue new interests. It should bring about a sense of revitalization and invigoration to carry forward wherever your spirit pulls you towards it, whatever it pulls you towards anyways. So Venus enters Aquarius on December 7th, giving us the energy of the Five of Swords, the Star, and the Empress of the Tarot. We may be liberating ourselves from obligations of nurturance. Okay, so maybe we need some time away from the family to focus on ourselves this month. We may want to separate ourselves from projects requiring investment of emotional energy or management of resources. It could feel like a time to cut and run, or taking everything with you and just escape into the great wide open. So maybe that's getting out into nature. That can manifest as selling a home, leaving your partner, or taking a long trip in an RV. You just feel like you need to get away. Okay, that can definitely be this new moon in Sagittarius. December 7th, on the same day, we also have Neptune going direct at 27 degrees of Pisces. So this placement is reflective of the Eight of Cups. So while it was in retrograde, we felt like we needed to be somewhere to be with someone, or that there was a need to do something. There might have been some form of escapism that we can now leave behind. Okay, so whatever that is, that could be problematic for you. Maybe some addiction issues, that might be something you might be focusing on leaving behind this month. So either way, we've probably had to do some kind of homework on ourselves and getting to the emotional root of the trauma. So yeah, we can definitely have to look at those things. There's a lot of trauma that's kind of uncovered with Pisces here. The previous month, especially through Scorpio carrying into this month. So it's not completely resolved yet. It's something we'll probably still be looking at. The situation of the place in which we learned from, whether it was actual or metaphorical, may no longer be necessary. And so it's time to say goodbye to whatever situation that is. Okay, so next major transit happens on December 15th. We have a full moon in Gemini at 23 degrees. The placement gives us the Lovers, the Four of Swords, and the High Priestess. It may be time to take a vacation with a loved one, to relax and withdraw. Okay, so that still continues, that whole theme. The placement has an element of spiritual devotion or even a meditational practice. Okay, so maybe it's some sort of meditational retreat or something like that. It could be a good time to do that as well. On the 15th also, we have Mercury going direct in Sagittarius at 6 degrees. It has the energy of the Five of Wands, so be wary of conflict and disagreements. Okay, this also can be inner conflict. Coming out of that Mercury retrograde, it can kind of be inner conflict moving into outer conflict possibly. So during the Mercury retrograde, you or someone else you may have wanted to voice your opinion to at a certain point of time, there may have been some contention in the past, but now it's more likely to come out in the open, as we just said. But that's due to the expansive energy of Sagittarius and Mercury being direct. Okay, so it can also be a good time for a sporting event and blowing off some steam, so you can use the energy in that way, and it can be more helpful for you and productive. On the 21st, the Sun enters Capricorn, giving us the energy of the Two of Pentacles. The focus is on keeping things going, work versus play, duty, obligation, responsibility, what makes you happy versus what you feel you need to do, feeling like what you have to do. Okay, so those are the major transits. We are not done yet. We are going to go this is kind of going to be a segue into the Pluto in Aquarius in a way, just because of the fact that it is part of this new moon situation. Um, but on December 1st, we're kind of going to look at the planets here. So on the right, you'll see that the chart from Astrodox, the actual astrology chart with the planetary placements and their degrees. So again, just in case you're not aware, the degree placements do show us the degree placements end up being manifested in terms of minor arcana cards per their particular degree. And I've talked about that in the past. And there's also a book, if you're interested, on the website. And you can check out the bookstore there. And the name of the book is called Arc for a Perilous Time. It introduced the concepts of this charting system. And it's not really new as far as it's just been discovered. I think the Golden Dawn system was never originally parsed out, or if it was never shared with the public. So this is my own discovery. I've discovered through use of the Golden Dawn tarot correspondence in terms of the astrology with it, how the actual minor arcana would be charted. And that chart is in Arc for a Perilous Time if you're interested in seeing that. And there will be another book coming out in the future, more particularly on how to do the charts and some chart examples too. The Arc for Perilous Time introduces it and kind of the source of the material, because it's not just the Golden Dawn. There's also the work of G.I. Gurdjieff and P.D. Ouspensky's Fourth Way system, and how it is that their system has been integrated. Well, really, it was always there, in my opinion. But yeah, it does show how that ties in with the charting system that I've developed. Still continuing to develop. It is a system that can be used for many types of things. Okay, so on December 1st, we have our degree placements that are kind of going to set the tone for the entire month. So at the time the new moon goes into, at the time the new moon becomes the new moon in Sagittarius, that is, we're going to see these placements happen. So we've kind of already talked about the sun and the moon with the new moon. So that happened at 9 degrees. That's the conjunction there of the sun and moon. And so we're going to look at Mercury, which falls in Sagittarius at 20 degrees. And that will be giving us the 10 of Wands reversed. Okay, and so that's a retrograde. So this is kind of going back over things, rethinking things, thinking, how do I get out of a particular situation? It's carrying a burden. So something that's been burdening you for a long time, how do I get out of that? How do I undo that? That can be part of that trauma before that we've experienced and that we're trying to undo, because that's kind of carrying over our thoughts on the trauma from the previous month with Scorpio. That can be part of that, but Mercury is more so just thoughts in general. So anything that's been on your mind for some situation you've been carrying a heavy load, that's the 10 of Wands. How do I get out of it? That's going to be one of the main themes for Sagittarius. And you'll have the energy to figure out how to do that and what to do. It'll come to you a lot easier this month, okay, with that new Sagittarius energy. And you'll just feel motivated to do it, whatever it is that you've been trying to do for a while. And then in the next aspect, we're going to look at the Seven of Pentacles, and that is through the eyes of Capricorn, Venus and Capricorn at 23 degrees. So that's harvesting something, kind of reaping the emotional seeds. You're harvesting the seeds that were planted. This is kind of carrying over from the energy of last month, but it's something that's being harvested. What are we getting? Okay, so you've invested into some sort of emotional relationship, but it's very practical. It's very grounded in Capricorn. So there's something that's very, very stable, very static. I see stable and static things in Capricorn being more likely to manifest well because they've had a longer time to develop. That is the energy of Capricorn. So whatever it is, it's probably been going on for a long time, and that could be a relational or devotional situation, being that it is Venus. Okay, something that's being cultured and being nurtured. So that nurturance that we talked about before, with the placements and the transits, that's going to be a big focus this month. Not just in feeling that you have to get away from a situation in which you're nurturing it and that it's become too much of a burden. That definitely can play out too. We've talked about that as well, but it doesn't all have to be getting away from it. You could be reaping the rewards from something too. Okay, so maybe your relationship becomes better with someone or with something. And then we'll move on to the next minor arcana card, which is the Seven of Swords reversed. And now we go from Venus to Mars. Okay, so that's Mars and Leo. And in the reversal, we get... actually, I meant to say that we are looking at the Ten of Wands again here, but this time in the upright. The Seven of Swords is actually the next card coming up. So with the Mars energy in Leo, something is going to be our focus here. Leo is a focus card, being that it's related to strength in the sun. Okay, so we're going to have the strength to carry something through till the end. It's going to be something we've been working on for a long time. Okay, so this can kind of tie back into the other thing we were looking at back with Mercury. It might be related to the same thing. It might be something else completely different. It just depends on what's going on in your life and in your chart. Okay, so, but again, with the martial energy in Leo and the new moon in Sagittarius, we're definitely going to have the energy to push forward till the end to carry it through successfully. That's what I'm seeing there. Okay. And then now we will actually get back to the Seven of Swords I had just spoken of. And the Seven of Swords is in Gemini with Jupiter retrograde. Okay, so that's why we had the reversal here, because of the retrograde. And in general, the Seven of Swords is about planning, kind of looking into things, uncovering things in the reversal, as opposed to hiding things. So, but we're kind of pushing things aside in this situation. Jupiter's kind of moving, because it's retrograde, rather than making things bigger, we're going to kind of make them smaller. So things we were focusing on before become less of a focus for us. And the planning and strategy that was required before is going to kind of not seem so important to us. So something that was important is not so much anymore. And I think it's going to be kind of a situation where we're letting go of petty things, and focusing on the bigger things, such as the Ten of Wands situation, where we're taking that martial energy, that fire energy this month, and moving it towards success. So I think especially with all this fire energy we have coming up this month, we're going to leave a lot of the other types of energy kind of behind here. Although swords energy will become important for us when we talk about the collective situation of Pluto and Aquarius. But for now, let's go on to the next placement, which is going to give us a Two of Cups for the minor arcana. And that is at the position of 12 degrees in Pisces, and that Saturn falls for that placement there. So we're looking at the Saturnian energy. And again, this is from when we were looking at our Venus in Capricorn. Okay, now we have the dispositor energy of the planet being in Pisces. So, but because it's at the Two of Cups, we kind of have a double doozy for our relationship situations here. The energy of the Two of Cups brings togetherness, healing, can be love, and it's a very deep emotion, some sort of deep relationship, deep emotional love situation. But the Capricorn and, the Venus and the Saturn kind of make it something heavy for us, something very real. And it can be very real emotions that we're feeling this time around. And I think this is a situation where we're dealing with a lot of healing still coming out of coming out of Scorpio. So I think that what we're going to be dealing with here is a situation in which we are looking forward to heal a lot of trauma. Okay, so that trauma thing is coming up again here, perhaps with that. Okay, and so remember that these placements here that we're reading for December the 1st are going to be setting the tone for the rest of this month. So healing, a big theme of Sagittarius as a temperance card in the tarot. So it's about finding equilibrium and balance as well as healing. And well, look at the next card. Okay, the Two of Pentacles reversed, and that is on the level of Uranus in Taurus. Okay, so a lot of trauma, perhaps. Okay, maybe we are dealing with a lot of trauma still. Not that this is necessarily about trauma, but we just talked about being out of balance. And well, tarot kind of, as we divine on the tarot and we talk about these things, it's interesting how that the cards kind of flow as they do, and the energy kind of manifests while we speak about it. That's kind of what I noticed in a lot of these reports and in a lot of the um, astrological reports that other astrologers do too. When they talk about things, they're kind of divining live for you in motion. I've literally had things happen as the astrologers are talking about the situation. It's very interesting how that works out. I could be doing something and can relate exactly to what it is that they're saying at that very moment in time. It's quite freaky sometimes. But yes, so the Two of Pentacles reversed, that is our Uranus in Taurus at 24 degrees. And so what does that mean? Okay, so well, Uranus in Taurus is about instability in general, okay? And at 24 degrees, things don't get much better. They can definitely be very unstable. We are experiencing a lot of war situations going on right now. I hope that that's not related to what that energy is, but that is part of the unstable world of Uranus and Taurus. It is definitely part of that. So unable to balance things, unable to handle. It could also be about related electronics too. It can be about the internet, email. It can be all sorts of electronical issues, and Uranus is definitely technologically related. So expect some instability on the level of technology this month, whatever that's going to manifest as. You can expect something like that to happen. Okay, so moving on to the next one on the collective level here, the outer planets. We are talking about now Neptune in Pisces at 27 degrees. And Neptune at Pisces in 27 degrees for us is going to be about unable to take a journey or unable to move in the way we wanted to. However, we may be reinstated into a nurturing situation on the whole, on the collective level. So we talked about having issues with nurturance or wanting to leave it behind, and yet we're going to get the nurturance we need somehow collectively. So maybe that's an energetic thing. Maybe that's a healing thing from the past month in Scorpio. But some change is going to take place on a spiritual level for all of us, for many of us. How that's going to manifest, again, that will be mostly up to you. That's going to manifest for each person individually. But on the collective level, yes, I do see it overall being positive, especially since now we're in the month of Sagittarius and we're talking about healing in general. So we might get the healing we need in a different way, in an emotional, spiritual way of some sort. So it's fascinating. We have this kind of back and forth instability, but the instability can force changes for us too on a collective level, coming from the Uranus and Taurus. That can kind of force a situation in which we need healing. So who knows how that's going to happen. Then we have as our last placement as Pluto in Aquarius. Okay, so this is what we're talking about here. This is kind of collective change. And that's what I see going on this month in general. So the new moon in Sagittarius is going to kind of segue into that, into the Pluto in Aquarius. And Pluto is about revolution in general, about revolutionary change and transformation. But being the fact that it's in Aquarius, it is some sort of revolution indeed. Okay, so that's kind of the perfect combination for change on the collective level. It is very, very much about the public, very much about everyone. So this is something that's happening to all of us. But the fact that Pluto moves into Aquarius at the At 0 Pluto moves into Aquarius at 0 degrees, falling at the 5 of Swords. That is concerning to me a little bit, and especially since we have the Uranus retrograde in Taurus. They can kind of make things really unstable. And then you have this division that's already going on right now, especially politically now. The 5 of Swords doesn't make things any better. It makes us more divided. So we want to be free. We want to be liberated to say what we want, express what we want to express publicly in the open in Aquarius. We want to have the ability to do that. But we feel like we can't because then we also could be at odds with others. So there's kind of this sensorial censorship going on in a way in which we can censor ourselves. But that won't happen for very much longer with this energy. We're going to be more public about how we feel about things, and that can definitely cause confrontation with the 5 of Swords. But yeah, it's not going to be positive at first. We're going to have to move further into Aquarius with that Pluto energy to really see some real positive transformation. It's going to be a tough get-go, and it's going to be pushing hard with the new moon in Sagittarius. We're definitely going to be pushing into that energy in a forceful way. So how that's going to go, I'm not too optimistic about it in the beginning. I think it'll get there, but I think it's going to be some very rough times moving into it in the beginning. But we have to look forward to the resolution of it all, don't we? Okay, so with that being said, thank you for listening. That is the end of the report for the new moon in Sagittarius, as well as kind of my little Pluto and Aquarius additional information there. I'm not going to do a full video on Pluto and Aquarius. I don't think that pretty much kind of says what I wanted to say. But we'll see. I might. Yeah, so that pretty much does it. Check out the website, the new website, quicksilverastrology.com. Check out the bookstore on there and the new tarot deck that's available. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.
ज्योतिष का ज्ञान यह रहस्य, astrology's knowledge deep as sea. नक्षत्र कहानियाँ कहता यहाँ, constellations tell their stories to thee. कुंडलिनी जगाओ, आत्मा जागृत करो, awaken kundalini, let your spirit rise. ऊर्जा भीतर से बहती है, energy flows from deep inside.